For my presentation, I decided to do life cycle cost analysis and pavement. So the outline of my PowerPoint is going to include an introduction, equipment, cost, safety, the use of indexes, my summary and conclusions, my references, and a quiz at the end. Alright, from our introduction, life cycle cost analysis is a tool that can help in selecting the pavement type for your construction by comparing the life cycle cost between other different types of pavements. This is the whole idea of, life cycle cost analysis. So when talking about equipment and life cycle cost analysis, it's really talking about like the type of transportation you'll be using to move your concrete around, which could be like using a crane or a bucket, ropeway, belt conveyor, truck mixer, a dumper, or maybe even like a helicopter. Just the ways you're going to be moving your concrete around. So I'm going to talk about the cost between flexible and rigid types of pavements. TechStock conducted a survey comparing flexible and rigid pavements for the average maintenance cost per lane mile, and it showed that flexible on average was $1,537 per lane mile, while rigid was $958 per lane mile. And this shows that rigid pavement overall has less maintenance and is cheaper per lane mile. So when talking about the cost, it's easy to see it with these two graphs right here. These graphs show the relationship between the type of pavement, the cost, maintenance, and rehabilitation costs, and the salvage value. You can see that the bottom graph is flexible pavement, and if you look at the top one, you can see that that's rigid and it's missing a lot of extra stuff in the middle that the other graph is showing, which is the maintenance and rehabilitation. And you can see that rigid requires less maintenance and rehabilitation compared to flexible pavement. Safety is a big factor in the life cycle cost analysis, because while picking the most economic pavement is important, ensuring the safety of the public is even more important. It's also important to know the service life of your pavement so that you know when it's time to service and repair it. So life cycle cost analysis for Texas. Texas conducted a statewide survey in 1960 and determined that thick pavements need to be serviced after 12 years and that rigid pavements need to be serviced after 35 years. Using the information from these surveys allows for Texas to use appropriate pavement for the certain jobs that they have. Alright, so my summary and conclusions for life cycle cost analysis. Life cycle cost analysis per pavement is a very important factor when choosing the type of pavement you'll be using for your project. This includes the initial cost, annual maintenance cost, and cost for future rehabilitation. Without life cycle cost analysis, we would be wasting certain aspects of our projects that are very valuable to us, including the cost, safety, and overall lifetime of our pavement. These are my references that I used for this. The most useful one to me was the very first one from TechStock. It had almost all the information that I used. The YouTube video was also very helpful. Alright, here's some questions for this PowerPoint. True or false? Flexible pavement requires less maintenance than rigid pavement. This is false because rigid pavement requires less maintenance during its lifetime. True or false? Texas uses life cycle cost analysis when deciding which pavement type to use. This is true. And finally, which is cheaper, flexible or rigid? And the answer to this one, it really just depends on what your job is and if you need flexible or rigid. So it's really hard to tell.